Well, hey guys, I abruptly got cut off from the last video and didn't quite get this one finished. So let's see here. We were talking about the domains all real numbers is the best choice, and the range is the up and down, starts at 0 and goes up. So that's, and they said to use inequality. So that's the end of 7. So let's move on into 8. Just trying to give a little bit of some homework help because we're having a rough start on some of these. Don't expect this for every single homework, but I know this is kind of a thing for right now. All right, we're going to use the graph to determine the intervals for positive and negative. So probably need to make this baby a little bigger. Okay, so that's what we got here. So right there and right here, that looks like positive to me. Let's get this over here, I guess. And so that is, what's that spot there? That is -1. So from negative infinity over to -1, and then from 3 to positive infinity, at least for my problem, that is positive. And then let's look at negative. Okay, negative is the part below the x-axis. So that's that section there. And we would name it by saying -1, comma, and 3. So notice the same numbers, but instead of infinity up to -1 and 3 to infinity, we're going to go from -1 to 3. And we can't include 0 because that would be 0, not positive or negative. So this would be the negative section. Not to be confused with decreasing, which would be the entire left side, and the increasing would be the entire right side. But I think that's what's going to fill in those blanks. Right. Okay. Let's go on to our next question. It's probably going to be uptight with us if we're going to the next question, but that's what we're going to do. Oh, okay. It says, is it possible? Oh, this is the big long one. Okay. Is it possible to find the average rate of change of an interval between 2 points of a function to find the slope between the 2 points? By finding the slope, use the graph the y value of each x, then find the average rate of change for each interval. Okay. So it's giving us 2 points to finish off. So I guess it's saying the interval from -4 to -3. So we got to go find where -4 is. And it would appear that -4 is hitting right here at -4, 10. And -3 is hitting at -3, 9. Okay, but I'll have to shrink that back down and put the numbers in and see what happens. So we said that was 10, and this is 9. We hit check answer eventually, and it says nice work. All right, next question. It says the rate of change between these 2 points is, okay, so it's that's going to be y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And so I like to do it like this, put little boxes and then put my numbers in. So we'll call this x1 and y1. So we're going to do 9 minus 10, and then negative 3 minus negative 4. And see, this is why I like the boxes. Okay, so that's going to give me negative 1 over negative 3, what's that, plus 4? So that's going to be positive 1. So that equals negative 1 over all. So the rate of change is going to be negative 1. And I'd leave it there, but since we got to keep on going, I'm going to have to actually put it in. Okay. Excellent. Okay. Now it asks for a couple more points. So we know that negative 3 is 9, but I'm going to have to come up here to find negative 2. Negative 2 appears to be 6. 6, okay. So it would appear we have 9 still for that one, and 6 for negative 2. And come hit check answer, and it says again, nice work, and rate of change once again. Okay, so we'll knock this out once more, and we'll say, remember, this is x1, y1, x2, y2. If it weren't for the fact I didn't know all the pieces, I'd be quitting about now. So that's going to be 6 minus 9. And then going to be negative 2 minus negative 3. And you can do those in reverse order if you wanted to. You can make the, this one the 2's and this is the 1's, but you can't mix them. Okay. And so 6 minus 9 is going to give me negative 3. Negative 2 plus 3 is going to give me positive 1. So that gives me negative 3 overall. Okay. If I'm going too fast for you, well, like I just did, negative 3. Okay. Hit rewind. Okay. Nice work. Let's see here. Oh, well, it's going to keep going through doing that, so I'm going to quit now. And so that's going to give you practice on several of those. So I'm going to quit doing those and let you finish that all yourself. Okay? And hit next. He says, yes, I want to quit it. Okay, graph the absolute value of the function. State the domain and range. Okay. So looking at our 4 choices over here, let's see here. There's a couple of ways we can approach this, but this looks like it's going by 2's. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So this is 8 and 2 4s. So that's 8 and 4. So if this is the correct one, when I plug an 8 in here, it should spit out a 4. So let's see what happens. So if I plug an 8 in here, I should get a 4 out. And that is the question, right? So 8 minus 6, that'd be the absolute value of 2 minus 4. And so that's going to be just regular 2, and then minus 4. And that is not going to be true. So that is wrong. Okay. So not that one. Okay. Well, this one says write 2, 4, 6 down 4. So let's try that one. Okay. So I'm trying the one that has a vertex of 6 comma negative 4. I'm trying that out. So I'm going to put my 6 in here and see if this ends up being negative 4. Okay, so 6 minus 6 is 0. Yeah, and then you got negative 4 left over. So, yep, found it. Okay, now could there be another one? Well, this is the only one with that vertex, so it better be this one right here. And then I hit check answer. It says I did a good job. Now, you could always, again, plug this into your calculator. So I'm going to do that real quickly. I don't want to do it normally, but there's a feature I want to make sure you get. So I'm going to pull up my calculator, go to y equals, hit clear. Okay. And it said the absolute value. So that's the reason I'm wanting to do this. I'm going to hit up here under F2. So I'm going to hit alpha window, ABS for absolute value. Hit number 1, and there is my X minus 6, right arrow, minus 4, and I hit zoom 6 because that's my habit, and lo and behold, there it is. Now it's a little bit different because you notice it's negative 10 to positive 10 is stretched out, and this other is negative 10 to positive 10, but it's shorter. So it's kind of, the graph is kind of stretched out. And if that bothers you, you could come in here and do zoom 5, which is called zoom squared. And that's going to look just like what's on the screen. Okay. Except it doesn't always reset all the features, because it's not called zoom standard. Okay. But that works too. So where did I find the absolute values? Well, there's other choices too. You can hit second catalog. Since it's absolute values, it's the very first thing. You can also hit math. I gotta quit that. Okay, math, and somewhere in here, there it is under num. It's there, but I always just use alpha window, just like you hit alpha y equals, which is F1 for the fraction. I do this for absolute value. So not necessary for this problem, but for some of you, you'd appreciate that. Okay, so we'll leave that alone. So, and then the domain, it wants to know the domain, huh? All right, so the domain, well, and it says use interval notation, right? Interval notation. So we can get this where we see the whole thing. So the domain goes left forever and right forever. So let's, since they want interval notation, we're going to go open parentheses, negative infinity, and hit comma, then positive infinity. Yeah, and close that up. So there's the domain. Check answer. Excellent. All right, and now they want the range. Okay, so the range is going to start down here at -4. That's the y, lowest y value, right? And go up. Okay, so remember, it's going to start at -4 and go up for the range. Okay, go up towards infinity. And notice that, hey, well, looky there, that number there. I wonder if that means something. Yep, we'll figure that out tomorrow. It's next lesson, so we'll leave it alone for the moment. So we got -4, comma, infinity, close it off. Here, and lo and behold, there it is. There's the range. And I believe we will have finished that problem. It says that is incorrect. Oh, well, looky there. All right, let's see what we did wrong. Let's just delete everything in there, because I'm pretty sure it's just how I typed it somehow. So let's put this guy here in, and we'll go yeah, that's -4. That's for sure. Hit my little right arrow twice. So when I hit it once, I think it gets on just on the outside of the box. The second time actually pulls it into the box, it seems like. And that needs to be positive infinity there. And okay. Let's take another look. It said this is correct, right? It did. That's -4. Okay, well, this is interesting. Well, I'm going to hit final check to see what this thing will do. Oh, I forgot to put my squared off brackets. That's true, because it does actually touch -4. And y'all been yelling at me the whole time saying, you forgot your squared bracket. Sorry, you're right. That was all on me. That was all on me. I was so focused on the numbers. You know, I see that all the time. And it's just, I just did it too, didn't I? But you know what I could do is I can hit similar question and then I can still get full credit. I could do that, but I'm not. Okay. Oof, pick up some pace here, Ken. So, I'm going to leave this one. It's got a negative in front, so it's got to be one of these two. And I showed you how to use the graphing calculator. You can plug in a number. If you want to plug in 0 in for X and work it, you can get your Y-intercept, right? If you plug in 0, you'll figure out the correct Y-intercept. Since it's negative in front, you know it has to be B or C. And you can plug a 0 in, and that'll give you your Y-intercept. So then you can go from there. So I'm going to go on from here. Okay. So what's positive and negative? Okay. So again, now these are closed dots. So we're gonna see how that affects, because that sometimes is a weird way to work with it. So that's our positive. This is our negative. At the 0 doesn't count because it's not positive or negative. So, so they put the closed dots in here to try to mess with us. Let's try not to let that happen. So from -3 to +1, and from 1 to 8. Go back. So for some of y'all. So this is -3, 1 right there. And then this is 8, right? So those are our three numbers. Right over here. It's got pull down menus. Let's see what it says. So -3 to 1. And it's got the squared off brackets and the non-squared off brackets. Oh, they're trying to mess with this. And we said negative is going to be 3 to 8. Or 1 to 8. And no squared brackets here. Oh, no, I take that back. We can include 8, can't we? Because that is in the negative territory. It's not on the axis like the other one. So let's review that. So this closed dot, I left open because it landed on the axis, which is 0. But this closed dot, I can put a squared bracket off because it is in the negative area, not the 0. So that was a little tricky. So that's why I picked that guy there and get that bigger for you to see. Again, if I'm going too fast, you can always hit rewind. Check. And we are excellent. Okay. So again, I think you can use, I'll just go ahead and tell you, after you're doing your homework for the second section, you should realize that the vertex is going to be -5, -1. Okay? And so -5, -1, right there. And then you can plug in any number you want to because the slope is 1. So if I did like, let's see here, what's that right there? -4. So -4 plus 5, well, that's 1, and 1 minus 1 ends up being 0, right? So the whole thing equals 0. So you got -4 comma 0, and that should give you a lot of information. Well, shooey dooey. This one's asking for increasing and constant. So I guess I really should do this with you because that is different. So I'll help us finish this up. Okay, so we got our vertex we said was -5, -1. And we said -4 is 0. If I plug in -4 here, I can always again go to my calculator and it'll give me these points. And I know it's a V shape because it says absolute value. Save. And my little recorder will time me out at some point. And I hit check answer. Fantastic. All right. Then the function is increasing. Type your answer here. The intervals are not increasing ever. Nope, it's definitely increasing, right? And so we're going to type in here and say it is increasing from -5 to infinity, right? Because this is all the increasing part, right? That's the increasing part. And here's the decreasing part here. Now the question comes in, do you include the -5 or not when you're doing this? And I'm going to go with let's not include it as our kind of our standard unless we got that other positive negative situation. But when it comes to increasing and decreasing, I think we're safer going with just parentheses. So we're going to go, is this increasing? Increasing. So it's going to start at -5 and go positive. So -5, arrow past the comma, arrow into the box, positive infinity, check answer. Good job. Now it says for decreasing. So that's going to be -infinity to -5. And again, just the reverse of that. Okay. And if they ask for constant, there is no constant here in this situation. So we're going to move on. All right. Yeah, you can find the slope. Okay. If you put 16 gallons of gas in your car, you know that this amount of gasoline will allow you to drive this many miles. Write a graph and an equation to represent the situation. Well, y equals 416, maybe. Let's see what it says. No. Okay. Okay, well, let's go view. Oops, it's not going to send us to the example book. So I'm going to say, let's view an example. And here we go. It's got 8 gallons and that many miles. And it's got the question here. So continue. Notice that there's 0 gallons of gasoline in the car. Can travel 0 miles. That's true. First point to use to find that. Okay, so we're going to use 0, 0 as our first little point. Okay. Oh, so this is not exactly like the one we did in the book. So, okay. All right. That's what got me off. And the second one says, second point is 8, and then 8 gallons will give you 280 gallons. So that's 2 points. When you got 2 points, what are you going to do with it? You're going to do slope. How about that? And then from slope, you're going to do mx plus b. Or they're going to do point slope. Okay. They're using point slope. So they put in 0, 0, and then slope, which is same idea there. And so, and then you graph it. Cool. So that should be sufficient for that. So you're going to use 0, 0, and 16, comma 416 and find the slope, and then use that for your missing piece there. And then the y-intercept is 0, so that's no big deal. Okay, so its help on that was very helpful. All right, this is definitely one I wanted to look at here. It asks a bunch of questions here, but we only get to answer one question at a time. It's got a whole lot of choices here. So, all right. I want to take note of this. There's a y-intercept here, or x-intercept, 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 x-intercept. So that gives us a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And those are the things it's asking for first, is those 6 x-intercepts. Okay. And so that's what we're looking for. So this first one's nearly 0, 0.05. The second one's around 3/4, right? Between half and 1. So which ones of these are around 3/4? Well, 0.7 and 0.8. That's just before 0.75, and that's just after 0.75. Okay, and then 1.5, 1.5. So that's going to be just before 1.5 and just after 1.5. And then 2.25, but just below that would be 2.2. Okay. So that's where it goes there. I wouldn't do this if I didn't have 8 parts of this for you. The y-intercepts, well, that's going to be around negative 0.5. And this is tricky because it says select all that apply again, because they're wanting to know if you're paying attention, right? But there's only one y-intercept. And that is negative 0.5, not 0.05. So see if I didn't overlook something. Yes, fantastic. What do they represent? Okay, what do they represent? Well, the y-intercept is when they very first started and how far they went down into the trampoline, because the x-axis is the floor level, and then you jump on a trampoline, you go down, and then it goes up above it and then down again. So the y-intercept is when they started and then how far they go down. And then the other x-intercepts is how long it's taking them to be at floor level each time. So how long have they been jumping? Well, just barely, a little bit